Deters, the Bulldog on Class X Radio. And I just want to tell everybody that I had one of those weekends, which is a rarity for me. And what I mean by that is, let me see. I had a gala fundraiser on Friday night to attend to. Then I had to go down to the Madison and introduce Get the Lead Out. And then Saturday night I had a wedding. Some dear friends. Yesterday, I had to go to the Sun Rock Farm with petting zoo with my grandchildren, and we actually missed an event that we were supposed to go to. Some other friends had a party, but I'm not used to such a jam-packed social calendar, but I had one, and now I don't feel like I'm ready for the week, Garrett.
You didn't get recharged then.
Yeah, you didn't get enough sleep, did you?
Not enough sleep. But anyway, what a weekend in football. And you know what? We're going to cover it all. Our Cincinnati Bengals failed us again. I don't know about you, folks, but every time the Bengals play the Pittsburgh Steelers, I just assume we're going to lose. I just do. I assume we're going to lose. It's just the nature of the beast.
They're our big brother that always beats us up.
Isn't that true?
Yep.
I mean, and when we were up 14-6, could have maybe driven the ball down, scored a few more points, and then interception, tip pass, interception. And I have to admit, as a quarterback, there's nothing worse than a tip pass interception because it goes in the books as an interception, even though it's really not fair to the quarterback. Nevertheless, it's still an interception, and that wasn't good. And then when it's 14-14, it's like, oh, here we go. That's when you knew it was going to happen again. My son actually was at the game with two of his friends. I'd gotten my tickets off my cousin Josh. But I'm telling you, to go down there and sit for 3 hours and lose, it's why I don't go to games. I don't like going to games because of that reason. You sit there, you get all pumped up, you all get excited, then they lose, and it's like, oh, why did we do this? Did you go to the game, Gary?
I feel like you wasted a day or an afternoon. I did not. Watched it.
Denise, did you go to the game?
I attempted.
Attempted? What do you mean attempted?
I made it to the tailgating party prior to.
Went to the free party.
And then we went down at 4 o'clock, and then by 8 o'clock, it was just, I was a little too tired, and I didn't really want to go in and watch the game at that point, so we went home.
So you went to the tailgating, then you went home.
Yeah, how about that?
That actually was probably pretty smart.
I was going to say that.
I can understand that, actually, because then you didn't waste your time watching the game at the game.
You at least went to the fun part.
I got the fun part of it.
Partying.
Yeah.
I like that.
Let me tell you something else, which is sad, but it's just the way I feel. I worry to death. I checked in with my son at the end of the game about 30 minutes after to make sure he was okay. I honestly worry about safety because of the drunks and everything else, and I represent people that have gotten in fights down there, and it just scares you to death. You say, you hope there's nothing bad happens. Hope nothing bad happens.
That hour at night, they've probably been out there since Zim said he saw somebody out there at 9 in the morning for an 8:20 game.
Wow.
Prepared 3 square meals just to go out there and eat and drink all day long. It's these hillbillies on the west side that they eat that stuff up.
Well, even 4 hours is a long time to be down there.
Exactly, yeah.
Class X Radio was one of the sponsors of Get the Lead Out, which is a Led Zeppelin tribute band, or the Led Zeppelin tribute band, down at the Madison. And I stuck around for one song because I had to get back to the gala. And I'm telling you right now, those dudes could sing.
They were good.
My God, that guy has some pipes.
Solid night then?
Did you stick around?
I did. I stayed the whole night.
Did they do the Immigrant song, and did he sound like Robert Plant during it?
You know, they did. I couldn't even tell you if they did or not. I mean, they played
I'm sure
everything.
they played it.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
They sounded good.
They came back out and played Stairway to Heaven and, everything at the end. They sounded, dead on in a lot of ways. So it
sounded like Led Zeppelin.
They did.
And then on Saturday night, my dear friend Debbie Alm, close family friend forever since our kids were little, and she had a wedding there's her second wedding with Tony Burden, and they had this little wedding in the Rotary Grove, it's called, at the VU Park, and it was an outside little wedding at 6 o'clock on Saturday night, and it was a little chilly, but it was sunny, and it was in the trees and a little grove there, and it was beautiful. And then a reception, it was afterwards, but I'm telling you right now, and I missed another party Saturday, another friend of mine had I'm not used to this intense social engagement calendar.
Big old partier this weekend.
Let's talk about high school football. I'm going to run through this because I am prepared today, at least last night, going through my weekday newsletter. I'm going to hit the highlights if you've missed these. St. Edward's beat Moeller 49-42. St. Ignatius 32, St. X 21. Two of our big schools lose to upstate schools. I just mentioned this score because I want to get a head football coaching job, and maybe I should apply to Ludlow because Ludlow, they voted for me when I ran for county attorney, so Ludlow is near and dear to my heart. Beechwood beat them 61-0. Maybe now would be a good time to apply to be the Ludlow Panthers head football coach. Connor 39, Scott 32, Campbell County 48, Boone County 28, Covington Catholic 49, Holmes 28. The Bulldogs might need me too. Middletown 20, Hamilton 19, Indian Hill 37, Deer Park 14. Willie's Deer Park goes down to the rich guys. Coleraine 57, Lakota West 44. Elder 38, Highlands 24. Go Elder Nation. And on behalf of everybody, and except Denise, that always roots for anybody but Highlands, yeah, baby.
I was at that game. Elder pretty much dominated them.
I'm sorry about your alma mater, Denise, losing.
You know what? It's okay. They have to lose every now and then.
NCAA football, I'm going to give you the best. Number 6 LSU 24 beats Texas A&M 19. Ohio State 29, Purdue 22 with the backup quarterback. Wisconsin 38, Minnesota 13. Florida waxing number 7 South Carolina, and Florida is definitely number 2 team in the country now, 44-11. When do they and Alabama play? That'll be a game.
That SEC schedule is tough. They don't play them this week, but they've got like LSU or somebody else. Another.
My Irish, man, Brigham Young gave them a game, but Notre Dame wins 17-14. Louisville beats South Florida 27-25. Texas Tech 56. TCU 53 in 3 overtimes. Nebraska beat Northwestern by a point. Michigan 12, Michigan State 10. What a weird game that must have been. Western Kentucky lost to Louisiana Monroe 43-42 in overtime. USC waxed Colorado 50-6. Alabama stomped Tennessee 44-13. Kansas State just destroyed West Virginia. Whatever happened to West Virginia going down the tubes? 55-14. Oklahoma 52, Kansas 7. Georgia 29, Kentucky 24. They lose again. And the Toledo Rockets beat Cincinnati 29-23. They don't even score an offensive touchdown.
How bad is that? Their offense, that's their issue.
Yep.
Their offense.
Duke's 33, North Carolina 30. You know what? When's the last time Duke beat North Carolina in football? Florida State 33, Miami 20. I watched a little bit of that game. Texas 56, Baylor 50. So that's your high school and college football notes. We'll, of course, cover the NFL scores. Let's get a traffic report.
Well, you know what? It's pretty quiet out there. If you just drove in. You didn't see anything, did you?
There was nothing from Southridge Lane all the way in. Nothing.
There you go. That's pretty much how it looks out there right now. So you just gave the traffic report.
Nothing to report.
So we'll keep it short and sweet.
Let me see here. Let's cover today in history. I got to cover the quote today. The quote of the day is from Alexander the Great. This is a great quote. It is men who endure toil and dare dangers that achieve glorious deeds. And it is a lovely thing to live with courage and to die leaving behind an everlasting renown. Alexander the Great. I love that quote. I live by that quote.
You live by it?
I live by that quote. I endure toil and dare dangers to achieve glorious deeds.
We need to post that.
Glorious deeds.
There you go.
That's what I like. Today in history, 1962, JFK imposes a naval blockade in Cuba, and it worked. 1964, EMI rejected the audition by high numbers, and they went on to become what band, Garrett?
Beatles.
I have no idea. EMI.
Jake yelling the Who from the other room.
Yeah.
Jake read it, Jake. And by the way, we got to give Oracle status to Jake because he installed our 4 televisions. We now can watch ESPN, Fox News, CNN for the liberal view, and local news all at once. We have one more television in our studio than Clear Channel.
Attaboy, Jake.
You've been awarded
Slave
Oracle
this
status.
weekend.
The big one don't got nothing on us. We have 4 TVs in the studio. They only got 3.
Yep.
Man, we are soaring Class X radio, I'm telling you.
You know, I just pulled up Cincinnati.com, was looking on here, and top video picks today. Guess look who's on there.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, boy.
Me?
Yeah, well, isn't that you with the big old arrow right in the middle of your face?
Oh, my God.
It is you, isn't
I
it?
saw that the other day. I feel like that's been up there a while.
Has it? Well, I was
You know
gonna
what it
say,
is?
it's
What
still
it
on
is
there.
what it is Patrick Reedy, the photographer, put that in my face. He said, "Hey, can you give me an interview?" So he was playing. The reason why is I don't think they want Jim Hanna coming interviewing me lately. 1960, already covered that. 1976, red dye number 4 is banned by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. 1981, the U.S. national debt topped $1 trillion.
What year was that?
By the way, did any of you guys watch Dateline? Because I didn't. On Friday
No.
night, I didn't watch it. I was at the gala. I went to the Led Zeppelin thing. I got home. I didn't even see it.
You didn't get it recorded? You didn't have a DVR?
No, but they're going to send it to me. I heard, that the Sarah Jones thing, they presented it, unbiasedly a little bit. I don't think Cheryl Jones is very happy about it, but you got to present some of the stuff. But here's the thing. I've gotten some emails in Texas from around the country saying, "Man, Bulldog, we want to hire you." One person said they work at a law office that's boring and she wants to come work in my office. From Michigan, no kidding.
There you go.
All right, when we come back, we'll have another traffic report. Hopefully nothing is still happening. And we'll continue to give you the news from around the world. And this is Van Halen, Dance the Night Away on Class X Radio. This is the Bulldog on Class X Radio. Is there anything new in traffic besides nothing?
Well, no, there's pretty much nothing new in traffic.
Good, we like that.
Yeah, we do. I mean, it keeps it quiet out there for you.
Famous birthdays today. Jeff Goldblum, the Fly, is 60. Deepak Chopra, Mr. Philosopher Man, 66. And do you remember Back to the Future? Christopher Lloyd, 74 years old today. Today is also known as Day of National Concern about Young People and Gun Violence, National Nut Day.
National Nut Day? Like for people or nuts that you eat?
I have no idea. It might just be both.
Peanuts.
Festival of the House of Mercy. What the hell is that? And National Barber's Day, a day that I celebrate every year. Military deaths. We have none to report today, but there was one over the weekend. Sad to report, Army Private Shane Wilson, 20, of Kuna, Idaho, lost his life in Afghanistan. And so sad. He was based out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, too. Today's forecast, partly cloudy, high of 78, low of 58. Tuesday, isolated thunderstorms, high of 78, low of 56. Wednesday, sunny, high of 78, low of 55. We got a jackwagon. The Cleveland Plain Dealer.
You jackwagon?
Endorsed Barack Obama. Do you believe it? I do, because they're so liberal.
Why does the media even endorse somebody?
Right.
I've never gotten that. Why newspapers feel the need to endorse somebody? It's supposed to be an unbiased thing.
It's the editorial page.
I know, but still.
It's a tradition. The Tampa Tribune, I have to admit, if I owned a newspaper, I'd endorse because I'd want to influence the election the way I want it to be done. The Tampa Tribune, the Columbus Dispatch, the Fort Worth, the Texas Star-Telegram, the Arizona Republican, the Pittsburgh Tribune all endorse Romney. And we got a little clip from Sam White, who was down tailgating at Paul Brown Stadium yesterday.
Is this just last night?
Yeah, for Mitt Romney.
It's great to be back. I never went to a tailgate, so this is a very first for me. I was always in there working, if you remember. It's important that Hamilton County vote for Romney in order for this state to go Republican. I just trust the guy. He makes practical common sense to me. He's a businessman. We need a businessman in charge right now.
You know what? Did you see the newspaper where he's right about Hamilton County and all of the differences and like they went through Obama in 2008, which was rare. I can't imagine them going for Hamilton County going for Obama again this time, and I just can't see it. Can't see it. I think the suburbs are going to go big for Mitt Romney, but we need him to. Let's do a little pop culture, shall we? The weekend box office, Paranormal Activity, $30.2 million.
You like those scary movies?
I hate scary movies.
Do you?
I hate them. Do you like them?
I do. Actually, my kids like them, too.
I got to ask you this question. What purpose? See, I'm going to give you an example. A comedy, laughing is good for you.
Laughing, too.
Drama is good, for the brain. Inspirational movies, they inspire you, pump you up, rev you up like Rocky or something like that. What is a scary movie that scares the hell out of you? What purpose does it serve?
Other than stress you out.
Seriously, what purpose does it serve?
I don't know. Makes you, sit on the edge of your seat. Just never know what to expect out of them.
But why would you want to do that to you? It's like self-inflicted torture.
There's certain ones I won't watch, but I don't know. I have no idea. I don't like blood and guts, and I don't like possessed movies.
Argo, $16.6 million. Hotel Transylvania, 13.5. Taken 2, 13.4. And Alex Cross, 11.7. Judge Judy, we report, makes $123,287 per day. People wonder why I want a Judge Bulldog show.
Yeah.
There you go.
My goodness. Britney Spears, the pop star, is rumored to be marrying her soon-to-be third husband, Jason Trawick, within the next few weeks. Britney's going to get married again. Christina Aguilera has been offered $3 million to be the face of a dating website for big and beautiful women. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Christina Aguilera? I didn't think she was that big.
I don't like her. I don't like her. Yeah.
Okay.
The boss. Report that live, Jake. We got to get this report. This is Jake who saw her in person.
Saw her in person. She's a little big.
And why did you see her in person? Did you go out on a date with her? Did you?
Oh, I can't.
Did you stalk
confirm
her?
nor deny that, but I did see her a few times in Hollywood.
You can't confirm
So
that.
I like that.
Is she fat? Is she just tall?
She's just a little thick.
He's a gentleman.
I wouldn't say she's big or fat, but she's got some
Say it, Jake.
thickness to her.
Say it, don't
Can't do
say
it.
Is she a lard ass or not?
No.
All right.
She's not extremely heavy.
Bruce Springsteen will
she's
play a
hot.
free concert for Obama supporters. That's because you're big, Tommy boy. Supporters in Charlottesville, Virginia. I love you. Adele, the 224-year-old. What?
What's going on here?
I swear to goodness. This is true. William told me this is for you. This is not proofed. The 24-year-old British singer has delivered her first child, a son with boyfriend Simon Kaneki. And Garth Brooks was inducted into the Country Hall of Fame.
The Hillbilly Hall of Fame. That's a good honor for him.
I pulled out a few things from pop culture from the weekend because they were worthy of carrying over. Kate Gosselin has been offered her own TV show by Vivid Entertainment. She just has to try to make I'm glad that I can make a living as a lawyer or a businessman. I don't have to make a living, in entertainment because it's so fickle, And these people that are like, have their 15-minute of fame, if it doesn't work out, they just don't know what to do. But apparently it's going to be a job where she has to be a nude TV show host.
A nude?
Will Kate Gosselin go nude?
Who would want to watch it?
My problem with her is that she's exploiting her kids for her own gain.
Pretty bad. Dennis Quaid's wife, Kim, has filed for separation. By the way, she's smoking hot. Jessica Biel has married Justin Timberlake in southern Italy. Tim Tebow has trademarked Tebowing. He says he doesn't intend to profit from the decision, but if he does, money will be donated to his foundation. If I make any money at all from Bulldog Nation, it's all going to me.
I bet
I'm not rich enough to have a foundation.
Oh,
Yeah.
I keep every dime.
But you do your fair share of donating with different organizations, right?
I sure do.
There you go.
1968, Jackie Kennedy married Aristotle Onassis. And then finally, in pop culture, this is kind of sad. 1977, 6 killed in Leonard Skinner plane crash in Macomb, Mississippi. I know where I was at the time when I heard that news. I was at a Simon Kenton football game.
Really?
Yep.
That was one of those events for you. I'm trying to think of other events that was like you remember where you were, There hasn't been probably too many in my lifetime. You guys have a lot more. You're old.
Yeah, because we're old.
We are old.
Yeah.
I've got.
I am twice as old as you. You could be
9/11.
my son.
Yeah, 9/11 is the first thing that I could be. So could Jake, but you guys are cousins.
That's true.
Right?
We're cousins.
I've got cousins like that, though, that are old and
Well,
young.
when you
And I
start
got some
looking
big
at
news.
age.
I got some big news. Well, I'm not going to. Well,
What?
I
Go
talked-
for it.
Yeah, I don't think that's radio official yet.
yeah, I don't. But I talked to him, and he said, Jake, it was on purpose.
That's awesome.
Okay, well, this is no fair. We're sitting here. Nobody knows what you're
Somebody in
talking
the family's going to have a baby.
about. Oh, there you go.
Say what?
Not my immediate family. At least I not hope.
Jake?
Hope not for a while. No, Jack.
It's not me.
Jake.
No.
Thank goodness.
Guess who's going to be a guest on Obama's? On Jay Leno's show. I gave that away. Jay Leno's
Obama.
Is it Obama?
show. Obama.
Take
Obama.
for 500,
Hey, how about
Alex.
this? NBC Network, after being last in viewership among the 18 to 49-year-old group, the network has found itself in an unfamiliar place. First, the 3 weeks in the fall TV season. I was told by the NBC preliminary numbers, the Dateline piece on Friday night was their second highest rated show for the season
Really?
for Dateline.
Big for ratings.
Yes, it was.
We need to get.
Did you watch it?
Some of that in here.
No,
Was I in
didn't
here
watch
when
it.
you
It's
talked about it?
online. I wonder
I
if
didn't
it's
watch it.
online.
I did catch a little bit of it.
Of the Dateline, yeah.
I
I
didn't
bet it's
watch it.
online. I'm going to watch it later.
All right, when we come back, we'll cover some local news. We'll kind of cover sports. And we're just going to keep easing our way into the big news of the day, which, of course, is the big presidential debate tonight in Florida.
That's right. Foreign.
Did you see where Mitt Romney played flag football on the beach with the reporters? I could tell he was trying to instill the image of JFK, youthful vigor, playing football on the beach, while Barack Obama was playing golf somewhere.
You think he's trying too hard to make that appeal?
Nah.
I mean, that's what they said he needed.
I'm for Romney. We come back, we'll have more Radio Superbity on Class X Radio. This is the Bulldog on Class X Radio. Well, on Tuesday, that's tomorrow, President Obama and Vice President Biden will deliver remarks at an event at Triangle Park at 2500 Ridge Avenue. The event is scheduled to begin at 3:50 p.m. The event will be free and open to the public, but tickets will be required. Tickets for the event in Dayton are available at Obama campaign offices in Dayton, Trotwood, Vandalia, and Beaver Creek. Dun, 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 dun. Bottom line is that if you want to see Obama and Biden before they lose, this would be a nice chance for you to go see them. This is a sad, sad, sad statistic. And one reason why I'm familiar with this is because the event that I was present on Friday night, the Grateful Life Foundation, my wife's on the board there. The whole focus is on the transitions, Grateful Life, is on those with alcohol, drug problems, and trying to get them, going again. Through September 30th, St. Elizabeth and their 5 emergency room locations in northern Kentucky have treated 311 heroin overdoses.
Wow.
311 overdoses. That's like, you think about that, there wasn't 311 murders, but that's like 311
That's
bad deaths
Yeah.
that, I don't know how many of those died, but yikes. Scary stuff. Okay, in sports, let's go down the NFL scores. Tennessee 35, Buffalo 34. Giants 27, Washington 23. New Orleans 35, Tampa Bay 28. Dallas sucks 19, Carolina 14. They won, but give me a break. You beat Carolina by 5 points. Yeah. Jason Garrett needs to be fired.
Win's a win in this league, though.
No. Garrett needs to be fired.
What are they, 4-3? Not me. No,
They're
Jason
3-3. Indianapolis 17, Cleveland 13, Green Bay 30, St. Louis 20, Minnesota 21, Arizona 14, New England 29, Jets 26 in overtime, Oakland 26, Jacksonville 23 in overtime. The Steelers beat the Bengals 24-17. Let me put this in perspective. We were at home. Their 2 top running backs out. 2 linemen out. Their all-pro, all-world safety, Troy Polamalu, out. We can't win. We've now lost to Miami, Cleveland, and a beat-up Pittsburgh at home. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, are we just not as good as we thought we were, or is it because the competition's catching up with us?
We are the Bengals. That's what happened to us. That's simple as that. That's just the way it is around here. We just lose. We're losers.
You're right. I think that's a fair assessment. I saw some things last night that were impressive. Geno Atkins blew up that big fat lineman once. My God, it was incredible.
Geno's one of the best defensive linemen in that game.
Yeah, he's all pro. But Terrence Newman can't cover me.
No, he's terrible. Big Ben had all day to pass.
And Dalton.
And they're supposed to be a beat-up offensive line for Pittsburgh.
And Dalton overthrows all the time. Carson Palmer was doing that with his. Like that. A.J. Green was open in that one final drive. He threw it 10 feet over his head, and A.J. still got a hand on it.
Yeah.
He was wide open.
Yeah. And why they don't do that more often, take more shots with him just to go up and get the ball. He's taller than every defensive back, and he can jump higher than them. We got a little Marvin Lewis.
Let's give us some Marvin Lewis. Give us some.
It's a place for us to be right now. We need to go play, a complete football game and against a good team. This is certainly a good football team.
Yeah, how he has a job still is beyond me. He has a dead even record, 500 record in his what did he get here in about 2003?
Yep, it's terrible.
501 tie.
After listening to that train wreck, I think it's a good time to ask for a traffic report.
Well, you know what? It's probably a good time because I did just have an accident that came in, and they actually have closed Harrison just east of Wesselman due to an accident there. So if you live in that area, you're going to have to kind of maneuver around there. Then there's a broken down car on 7175 right at US 50, so heading into downtown right there around Fort Washington Way, and that traffic's starting to pick up. Just looking at that through the cut in the hill, starting to slow down a little bit already, which is a little early, actually.
And the Giants, please, please, please. I don't want the Cardinals to go to the World Series. The Giants win 6-1. The series is tied 3-3, and they force Game 7.
How about that, dog? I was just telling Jake, the Giants have now won 5 straight elimination games. 5 straight games that they have had to win or they go home, and they've won every one of them.
That is impressive.
And they'll go for 6 tonight to get to the World Series.
That is very impressive.
That's like when they came back to Great American Ballpark. They're down 2-0, backs completely to the wall. Then all of a sudden they win 2 straight, tie the series.
Right.
They've got the momentum all of a sudden. Now they've got the momentum in Game 7.
Right, at home.
At home.
Dwight Howard made his Laker debut, 19 points, 12 rebounds, 4 block shots. By the way, the Lakers are 0-6 in preseason. Who cares? DeMarcus Cousins was the hero for the Kings as they win 99-92. In NASCAR, Ken Seth wins at Kansas. For those of you that care about that kind of thing. St. Louis plays San Francisco at 8 p.m. tonight on Fox. The Lions at the Bears at 8:30 tonight at the Bears.
It's a huge game for my fantasy team.
BCS rankings, Alabama and Florida are number 1 and 2. Kansas State is 3rd. So that's all you.
About that, Notre Dame State at number 5.
Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Who we got next week?
Go Irish.
Oklahoma. I had tickets. I'm going to the Notre Dame game.
Man, Oklahoma's a good team. Why'd they schedule Oklahoma for?
Yeah, it probably was a few years ago they scheduled it, but actually it'd probably be one of the better years to play Oklahoma. They've had some really good teams in the past. I'm not saying it's a walk, cakewalk now, but
I saw 2 years ago, Oklahoma came and played UC, and UC should have won the game.
They should have.
But for that receiver that botched the punt and did a couple other stupid things.
I think that game was at Paul Brown.
Yeah. It was Paul Brown Stadium. They had Oklahoma. They should have won the game.
Yep.
But, of course, as always, what happens in Cincinnati sports, we lose.
It's like the fourth quarter comes around, and somehow there's a reminder, like something flashes on the big screen that says, remember, this is Cincinnati, and then they go and lose the game.
I gotta add this, say something. I completely forgot, and I think everybody else did too, because I didn't hear it mentioned. We didn't mention it on Friday. Sweetest Day was Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Did you forget?
Yeah, but it was like, well, actually, when I remember, it's like, hey, happy Sweetest. It was like no big deal.
Yeah, that's a made-up holiday by women.
Sweetest day.
I remembered it. I did mention it.
I'm sure you did
I just don't think I mentioned it.
Did you give your sweetheart something?
I didn't have one, so I didn't have to worry about it. Garrett and I neither one have one.
Here's another funny story. There's this doctor that went to high school with my wife, and last time he was at the ER, he actually told my father-in-law that he loved my wife. Like, he was in love with her, and she was so awesome, back in the day, so to speak.
Right.
So he came up at breakfast and shook my hand because he knew the guy that was with me. And I'm sitting there thinking, he's ugly, too.
It's pretty good.
I went home and bragged.
Does she know?
Oh, yeah.
She know he...
She knows everybody was in love with her.
What does she think about him?
Not much. Seriously. I'm not insecure about that one.
Nothing to be worried about there.
So let's play some U2 Pride. Sweetest Day. I hope you enjoy your Sweetest Day Saturday. I didn't. I mean, I enjoyed my day, but Sweetest Day?
Not because of
Big
Sweetest
deal.
Day.
On Class X Radio. Eric Deters, the Bulldog. On Class X Radio. I'll tell you right now, folks. Jake's got to leave early because he has to go drop off some kind of volunteer application to the zoo. At the wedding reception on Saturday night, we had a great time. Mary and I were there with Erica and her date, Cooper, and my son, Parker, and Charlie Ann and Chad, my son-in-law. And we had a good time talking all night about goofy stuff, and I don't know how we got on this subject matter. I think it was Chad that brought up, like, goofy things to do for fun. And this is pretty good. Get a group of friends to go running out of the zoo together at the same time going, the animals are out! Run for your lives! The animals are out! And freak out people walking into the zoo.
That'd be pretty good.
That's pretty fun.
Be a good YouTube.
I thought about that because of your going over to the zoo. And also, the guy who married Debbie Alm and Tony Burden Saturday night is an ordained minister. He's a police officer. He's a good guy, friend of mine. You know how he got 2 hours online, and he became an ordained minister. So you're truly, Bulldog fans, I'm going to become an ordained minister so I can marry fans that want the Bulldog to marry them.
That'd be pretty cool.
It'd be totally cool.
All it is a 2-hour class?
2-hour class online, you're an ordained minister.
An ordained minister.
Then
you do have to become a reverend.
Then my backup won't have nothing on me. I can be Reverend Bulldog when I want to be.
There you
go.
That. Oh my gosh.
Hey, this is cool, guys. Now everybody know. I mean, I'm not going to shy away of my confidence. I had Sarah check my messages from over the weekend, and she types them up and sends them to me. Get this. I got this. This is crazy. I'm not going to tell your name, but TV producer in Los Angeles. Heard you're looking for a TV show. If you aren't signed, please call her. How cool is that? They're looking for me now.
It's a shame it's only 6:50.
Wow, you can kind of hold out.
Of course, I am already signed. Dun, 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 dun,
Oh,
dun.
you
You
are.
are signed?
I'm signed.
I was going to say you could start a bidding war between...
But it doesn't mean that they can't communicate to them and say, hey, what's on your mind? That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. An alligator was found in New York Park. A 3-foot-long alligator was found in Lily Pond County Park near an area where children play on Long Island. 7 alligators, along with a boa, rattlesnake, and iguana, have also been found abandoned in the park in the past. That's scary stuff. Oh, here's a big shocker. A new study shows that middle-aged adults with 6 or 7 extra pounds on them are more likely to be hospitalized. Wow, that's a shocker. Did you hear that, Garrett? That's a big shock, isn't it?
Big time. What happened?
Jake was bothering
You
you.
know, you got
we
to
were
kind of
gossiping.
handle. You got to handle some of this stuff.
What do we got
behind
with
the scenes.
traffic? What do we got with traffic?
You know, we do have some problems out there. We still have that accident that shut down Harrison. That's eastbound, or just east, I'm sorry, there of Wesselman. So that's causing some problems. Also an accident on 74, just east near Spring Grove. So a couple of problems there. So that's on 74. Traffic's just really starting to pick up. I mean, it's a little early this morning, normally not till about between 7 and 8. So already starting to see some delays on 75 southbound, right around Ronald Reagan's really backing up there. And already 71, 75 heading in from northern Kentucky, you're already starting to slow down from around Dixie. It's already about a 10-minute delay So a couple of problems there with the accidents, and the rest of it, starting to pick up.
Very good. Rupert Murdoch, who owns the News Corp, Fox News, Wall Street Journal, is going to purchase the L.A. Times and the Chicago Tribune as they get ready to come out of bankruptcy. How do you love that? Oh, Rupert, man, he's just buying them all. I'm glad I agree with his political philosophy. But you know what? It's bad that there's monopoly in the press, too, long term. But it looks like he's the only one he's the only one that has cash. He's got cash to do all these things. Incredible. See what else we have in some general news. This is wild. A music teacher at Shenandoah, Iowa Elementary School has been placed on administrative leave after she told a class of students to surround 9-year-old Jason Kindop and spit on him after he stuck his tongue out at another student. The boy's been placed on an antibiotic after becoming sick, and the family is moving to Arizona. How in the hell does a teacher ask everybody else to spit on it? What the hell is she thinking?
That's just cruel. I mean, that's a
Boggles
bully
my
kind of
mind.
thing to do. That's hard to believe a teacher would have anybody do
A
that.
teacher. Jerk her life. I mean, that's just so over the top wrong.
Yeah.
Now,
What do you think with the worst grade to teach? I mean, I hate kids, so what do you think the
middle
worst?
school.
Yeah, 7th and 8th graders. My friends, 2 of them, teach middle schoolers.
Middle school.
Awful.
Middle school.
What these girls say to them is disgusting. I mean, sick and disgusting. It's
Like, what would they say? What are you talking about? What could be sick and disgusting?
talk about sexual type stuff. One of them is the softball coach, and it's he's come to me and he's like, are you kidding me with what some of these they'll ask him about? Have you had sex or
7th and 8th grade girls?
Yeah, 7th and 8th grade girl. I think he coaches the 7th grade team. Stuff about sex acts, and it's
Yeah,
he does not bring this on whatsoever. But it's it's just I don't know. It's just sick.
Yeah.
I mean, what's he supposed to do? Obviously, he just doesn't really. He just tells them to shut up, basically, because they're just.
Well, you'd almost have to, especially if it's a male teacher. You'd just be afraid that if something was misconstrued and they went home talking to mom
want
about.
to teach
Along those
coach
lines,
those kids.
A new study reveals that boys are beginning to entering the first stage of puberty between the ages of 9 and 10. So they're becoming pubescent earlier,
Yeah.
which means they're bigger little rattlesnakes to deal with.
Yeah.
Though the national rate of 7.8%, Ohio's unemployment rate dropped last month down to 7%. You know what's amazing about that? Is if that is something that were to save Obama, it'd make me sick. Because he has nothing to do with it. This is sad, but I believe it. According to a survey, 40% of Americans have $500 or less in savings. Well, what do you expect? They live from paycheck to paycheck. Who has money for savings?
I do. I mean, not that I'm pretty fresh out of college, but I'm definitely going just, pay my rent, make sure everything's paid off each month, but I don't have anything left over.
Right.
That's for damn sure.
Now, I can attest to this. Energizer Holdings Banana Boat has recalled 23 different types of Ultra Mist spray-on screen after a problem with the spray nozzle, which leads to over-application of the product and has led to people catching fire. The over-application results in a longer drying time, which raises the risk of flammability. True story, folks. I am not kidding you. I had some of this spray, and it burnt my skin. Like, what the heck is this?
And what is it again? What kind of spray?
Banana Boat sunscreen.
Sunscreen. Oh. Okay.
All right, we now have a song that we're going to play for all those that love cowbell on Class X Radio. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Class X Radio. Do you have a traffic report, Denise?
Well, we do. We still have that accident. Whenever they close something, you pretty much know it's probably a fatal accident, and that is on Harrison, east of Wesselman. So watch for that. And then there's a broken down car on 7175 around US 50. So not really seeing that. Accident 74 east near Spring Grove. So a couple of things there. But you know what? The rest of the traffic really is starting to just slow down all around the tri-state. So you're already seeing delays on 7175, southbound 75 around Ronald Reagan. southbound 71, where you have the pretty much all the merges. Anytime you hit like the 71 merge right there at Ronald Reagan or 275. So you have all that going on. You know, Dog, I don't know. Have you been Christmas shopping? I saw something today that I'm kind of
No, I have not been Christmas shopping.
There's some interesting things out on the on TV that, you know, I was kind of thinking, do we have that clip? I don't know exactly what all he
This
pulled.
November, support your candidate for president with a true American icon. Chia Obama or Chia Romney. Just spread the seeds, water, and watch them grow.
There we
Show
go.
your support. Display at work,
One
at
of the
your
most
home,
tackiest
in your
gifts you
school.
can ever give.
It's your freedom of choice.
Chia.
Chia Obama or Chia Romney.
Yeah. I wonder if it's any sign of if they can get it out there. And I think they're trying to get rid of all the Obama Chia things. I'm sure they've had them around for a while, but you know,
Chia
we
Bulldog.
need. That's exactly what I was just going to say.
I do not want a Chia Bulldog.
We need a Chia Bulldog.
I'm going to bring one in.
Well,
here.
it depends on how much they pay me.
I'm just going to buy another Chia and shave its head.
There you go. How about this story from USA Today? A 9-year-old girl dressed in a costume was accidentally shot during a Halloween party by a relative who thought she was a skunk. She was over a hillside and was dressed in black, wearing a white hat, when she was hit in the shoulder by a shotgun fire. Her condition has not been released. Really?
Wow.
That's a bunch of BS.
How would he have pictured her as a skunk? I mean, she had to have
9
been,
years old, little
right,
big for a
little
skunk.
big for a skunk. Maybe it scared him. It was a monster-sized skunk
Maybe
out
he
of a
was
scary
drinking.
movie.
In Calera, Oklahoma, a 12-year-old girl, fired a round through the door as the intruder was turning the handle. The intruder was wounded, sent to the hospital, and taken to county jail. How you like that? They teach them young in Calera, Oklahoma. A little bit of history for you, because Sarah Jones' case has been in the news. Which first lady was a teacher who was pursued by her former student until she agreed to marry him? I know you don't know the answer, so I'll give it to you. Abigail Powers Fillmore. Millard Fillmore was a student in 1819 at Baptist Academy near Moravia, New York. At 19, he was Abigail Powers' oldest student. He had a crush on his teacher from the very beginning, and he married her after a 7-year courtship in 1826. You know the big Imelda Marcos scandal with all the shoes?
Yeah.
Mary Todd Lincoln had 500 pairs of gloves.
500 gloves.
In one 4-month period, in 1864, she bought 300 pairs.
Denise, how many shoes do you? I mean, because that's what it is today. Women own shoes. How many pairs of shoes?
Still,
do you
I don't have that many. I probably have 40, 50.
40 pairs of shoes, dog. How many pairs you got?
But
I have the most shoes that I have ever had, ever. And that is, I have a pair of slip-on brown, pair of tie-on brown, pair of burgundies, pair of slip-on blacks, 2 tie-on blacks, and 2 pairs of tennis shoes. And I got a pair of black boots and brown boots. So I have 12 pairs of boots, shoes, and all kinds of different shoes.
Flip-flops.
Got flip-flops, that'll be 13.
Yeah, so, chicks have sandals. We have like tons and tons of different. I have a whole big old bag of sandals. So
I know. My mom's got a whole closet full of them.
Guys
I
just
probably
don't
have about
need it.
12, 13.
Yeah, guys just don't need it.
We have a rest in peace for George McGovern from South Dakota, the former U.S. Senator who ran for president. He's no more. God, lived over 90 years old. He was a bomber pilot in World War II.
Great run.
He had a great run. Well, the big news, as everybody knows, is the debate tonight. The debate. Presidential debate, Lynn University, Boca Raton, Florida, from 9 to 10:30, covering foreign policy. And the moderator is the liberal jackwagon Bob Schieffer. Bob Schieffer.
Of course, it's a liberal.
Let's give us a few. We got a few. How should we say? A few clips. First, from Newt Gingrich on the debate.
First of all, Governor Romney lived overseas for several years as a missionary, worked in international business for many, many years. As governor of Massachusetts, dealt with international relations as a governor, but more equally importantly, dealt with the entire world in helping rebuild the Winter Olympics, and literally had virtually every country in the world that he was dealing with in that setting. So he is a man who understands the larger world.
How about McCain? What does McCain think about this? I don't care what McCain, but maybe you care what McCain says.
I think both are excellent in their own way. I think you could argue that Mitt has had a lot more recent experience, obviously. But also, Candy, part of it depends on who's moderating.
Yeah.
Was he telling that to that Candy lady? I thought I heard him say Candy.
He was on her show. Yeah, he was on her show, and that's what he said to her.
Wow,
so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I have this question for, and I can't believe that the media hasn't covered this. And it's this. Where is Oprah? Where is Oprah? Where is she? Where's
That's
Oprah?
A real good point.
Nobody how does the media avoid the question, where is Oprah? Why isn't she campaigning for him? It's a biggest embarrassment of the Obama campaign, how they betrayed the person who helped him get elected more than any other, catapulted him past Hillary when she endorsed him, and nobody's reporting on it. See where John Glenn endorsed Obama with a commercial for Cincinnati Market? John Glenn. Yeah, I feel like saying, yeah, John, you mean you're supporting a guy that's putting NASA out of business? I mean, that makes no sense at all. I'm watching this and thinking, let's Jack Wagon up John Glenn.
Please.
He's no Neil Armstrong.
You jackwagon?
Jeez, old Pete.
Neil was first.
Yeah.
Neener.
All you did was orbit, Glenn.
Yeah.
Neil put his boots down on the moon. You guys going to go see, in Dayton, you going to go see Obama tomorrow?
Absolutely not.
We ought to send Bulldog Nation News up there and try to get him picking his nose or something. Put it on YouTube.
Get some interesting video.
Take him in the worst light possible.
I'm kind of wondering where you picked up, was it Farajaka? I mean, you just said that.
Farajaka.
That was your, were you singing
I'm a
that
Renaissance
this weekend?
man. I'm a Renaissance man.
How's the rest of it go?
I know everything. I don't know.
Well, that was, he just changed it into the,
I don't know
Oprah,
French.
So.
I only know German, Japanese, English, and Spanish.
I think I know like 7.
I think I'm the
foreign
only
languages.
person in the United States that can count to 10 in all 4 of those languages.
Germany, quick.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That could be completely wrong.
But
I have
we
no
never
idea.
know.
It is.
Go
Japanese,
ahead, next one.
Ich, ni, san, shi, go, roko, hachi, ku, ju.
Itch me? Were those the first
I love
two?
my favorite. My favorite is roko or roko. And then, okay, here's English. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
you're
6,
good.
7,
You're
8,
right
9,
there.
10.
What,
You
who
are
else
right
did he
there.
say?
And
What else?
I don't really know all the Spanish. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, blah, 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 nete or something.
Siete, ocho, what?
Okay.
I took Latin
Wait,
for
is that what
6 years. I have no idea how to say
None.
1 through 10.
No,
in
I
Latin.
couldn't. I wouldn't be able to remember.
See, I don't know French, but I know how to ask, do you speak English in French? So I just, when I'm in France, I just say, parlez-vous anglais? Which means, do you speak English? And if they say yes, we're in good shape. If they say no, I go find someone else.
Thanks, see ya. That's really good. A little French.
Parlez-vous anglais is all the French you need.
What is
There you go.
parlez-vous français? Do you speak French?
Yeah, do you speak French? But parlez-vous anglais, do you speak English?
Por favor.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, my.
I think I'm going to learn, what language should I learn next? Ethiopian, maybe.
Are you just going to learn how to count?
I mean, you went to Latin school. Are you decent at Latin? Does
No.
that mean
I took Latin for 2 years. When I was there, you didn't take it for 4. You could take it for 2. Then you take another language, and that's why I took German for 3. But I know enough Latin to be dangerous. Like when I see, I can't speak Latin, but I mean, when I see Latin, I recognize it. I can read it. I know what roots of certain words are, you know. And look at Bulldog Nation member Mark says, siete, ocho, nueve, diez is 7 to 10. Thank you, Mark.
it's time to rock, dog?
Is it time to rock?
Really get some.
Then let's rock with AC/DC and Thunderstruck on Class X Radio. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Class X Radio. You mentioned Latin school. Did I ever tell you why I went to Latin school?
No.
What changed the course of my life was that I was a bedwetter. And I wet the bed through the 5th grade, I swear to goodness. And one day, Doug Schulte comes over the house, and we go down to the no, not Doug Schulte. I take that back. His brother Mike Schulte, his older brother, helped my dad strip tobacco on a Saturday because my dad was their Sunday school teacher. He shanghaied all his senior Sunday school kids to come help strip tobacco. And I'm down there stripping tobacco on the farm. I did, I might have been like, I'm a fifth grader, man, and I'm helping. And Eugene Bach, I will never forgive him, God bless his soul. He started teasing me because he heard I'd wet the bed. I was humiliated. For these, talking about, I'm like a fifth grader, and these are like 20-something-year-old guys, you know what I mean? Older teenagers. Well, I get to school in St. Cecilia the next day, on Monday. And Doug Schulte's waiting for me, his kid in my class. And he brings it up. He goes, my brother told me you wet the bed. I mean, I was freaking humiliated. You know how little things humiliated. Well, that same week, some dude came around offering, you can take this Latin school entrance exam and go to Latin school. And I said, I'm taking that test and I'm getting the hell out of here before anybody else finds out. The whole year, Doug was a terrible athlete. He's a fat kid. And I was like the kickball champion, the smartest kid in the class, all that good stuff. So I gave him food. I bribed him with food to keep his mouth shut. I mean, I didn't say it, but it was kind of like, it was kind of like this unspoken thing. And I picked him for my kickball team first, even though he sucked. And to this day, I don't know if he told anybody, but I got the hell out of there solely for that reason. And I went to Latin school, and I think about how that changed. I would have been in Simon Kenton's class of 80 and 81 that was the state champion. That's where my wife was in that class, my present wife. Man, I missed out on all that fun. Now, who knows what would have happened, good or bad or indifferent, the other way. I mean, I got a good education at Latin school, but I would never go back again. But because I was a bedwetter and somebody teased me about it, changed the course of my life.
Changed the course of history.
Could change the course of history.
Wow. When did you first meet your wife then?
My present wife?
Yeah.
I knew her from a distance a long way back then. And worshipped her from afar. I asked her to slow dance once with me to dance, and she said yes. Really? She said, why didn't you ask me out? Because I was too chicken.
Well, where were you?
We played chicken. We played at Maximilian's. We played chicken in a swimming pool at the Y once, and she was on my shoulders. It's a funny story. She was on my shoulders, and her best friend was on Joe Schmiotti's shoulders. And after this chicken fight in the swimming pool, driving home back to the farm, we were farm boys. They were cheerleaders. Joe goes, that's the closest you ever get to that. I'll never forget him saying that.
You were wrong, Joe.
And you know what I said? I said, yeah, you're right.
You got to think positive.
Weird,
Didn't matter. It worked out.
But anyway, Latin school, at Latin school, everybody was smart. And I classified there were smart brains, medium brains, and dumb brains. And Father Arbogast, who taught German, put the dumb German students in the row in front of the smart German students. That whole back row of German students, you know what they all did? They became doctors, except one, Mark Freihofer. He didn't. But Chris Bowling, Mark Zala, Jim Repker.
All docs.
Zala's a dermatologist. Bowling's a pediatrician. Repker's a radiologist. Mark Freihofer. I don't know who else was in the back row. But I was in the dumb row.
So you became an attorney?
Really?
So I became an attorney.
Did you used to cheat in
I
school?
always say that lawyers became lawyers because they weren't smart to be doctors. But I'd rather be a lawyer than a doctor any day of the week. I had this great conversation once with, over in Hamilton County, Judge Cardilano at a break in the middle of a medical malpractice trial. We were joking about we're lucky to be lawyers instead of doctors. And one of the reasons why is doctors have those wild, crazy schedules, and their wives are just out there spending their money all the time. And you have to worry about getting sued for malpractice, all this stuff. We were just we convinced ourselves it's better to be a lawyer.
How do you see yourself as a judge?
As a judge?
Yeah. Would you like to be a judge?
I'd love to be a judge one day. I'd be a great judge.
How do you get it's an elected thing?
You can either get appointed by federal judges are appointed, state judges are elected. You can get an appointment, like if there's a vacancy.
Well, Judge Mickey Folger, he'd gotten in trouble one time for
He got in trouble for being mouthy and too harsh from the bench. And you know what? I wrote him a letter of support.
I mean, I know him.
Because I have a temper. I like Mickey Folger. I think Mickey Folger did a good job.
Well, didn't he want somebody to have a vasectomy or something?
He got suspended for a while.
Yeah. But, I mean, wasn't there something?
We suspended lawyers got to stick together.
No,
no, he said something about he said lots of things over the top, but who cares? He's all right.
No, I just thought it was interesting because, that's one that does stand out. I do know him.
Good old
Mickey.
By the way, got a Snappy Tomato board meeting. You got any thing you want me to report today? We got a Snappy board meeting
to
at
the
5.
Snappy board.
Yep.
Did they need to deliver us pizza?
Yeah, I was going to say.
We ought to have
8:30.
breakfast Snappy pizza.
That's it.
Oh, Snappy is good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way,
I haven't met a pizza I didn't like that.
I got to conclude my German story, and we'll get back to news after this segment. I know you all enjoy my story because you tell me you do. True story. You have to pass the German or Latin oral exam to graduate from Latin school. The senior year, you said if I ever cheat, yeah, I cheated.
Well,
anyway, so get this. In German, this is unbelievable. We studied this book. We interpreted this book. I don't know what the name of the book was. Frau somebody or another. So it's like a 200-page book it's all in German, and we had to translate it and everything. Well, I'm not kidding you. I was completely lost. I mean completely lost. And it's the eve of the German oral exam, right? And I'm like, there's no use studying. I'm done. I'm going to flunk. Who cares? So we all dressed up in suits.
How'd you wrangle
and we're in this auditorium. You're going to love this story. In this auditorium. And not only is Father Arbogast questioning, they bring in this German-speaking priest to be your questioner. And what they do is they call your name, you walk to the podium, they ask you a few questions for like 5 minutes. And you got to pass this German oral exam, right? This is when I knew I was going to be a good lawyer. So they call the Bulldog, and I walked to the podium. And you know what I did? I made sure I stayed calm. And they said, please turn to page 98, paragraph 2. I turned to page 98, and I swear to God, Jared, it was maybe the only paragraph in the book I could freaking read. They asked me to read it. I read it. They asked me to translate it. I translated it. He asked me one question. I sat down. And the whole class of German students, there was like 7 A's, including me.
You got an A?
No way.
I got an A on the German oral exam. And I never get there when they posted them, and I'm sitting there going, yes! Father Arbogast, who knew I was a dumbhead, in German, he's standing behind me with this nervous twitch. He goes, you're lucky, Deters. You just got lucky, Deters. And I was like, I don't care.
Lucky?
Sometimes better be lucky than good.
An A in German, baby.
When you flipped that page, you were happier.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. And Frank Decker, who flunked. By the way, he's a big wig at P&G now. He flunked. He starts cursing. And the headmaster was taking a family, parents and some kids, through a tour. And he starts saying, Hiley said, calm down, Mr. Decker. He said, it was crazy, man. He couldn't graduate with us because of that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And he's like a P&G executive now. Is that hilarious?
Flunked out a Latin school.
Oh, and his sister,
couldn't pass a German.
His sister Kelly, who was a little sister at Thomas More, is a doctor. She's an obstetrician, and she was at that gala event. Her husband runs Republic Bank locally, and she was talking about the Sarah Jones case. And she says they were all talking about it in the office, and she goes, "Oh, and not only did you get her off, now you're going to still get to sue the dirty.com. I was telling everybody in the office, I knew him when he was in a fraternity. If I need a lawyer, I'm calling him."
There you go.
See, it's nice.
But his little sister was talking me up at the office. But Frank went bonkers. Man, Father Hiley said something. I think he said F right back to Father Hiley. And with all that, let's have some Elvis, some Burning Love. When we come back, more Radio Superbity. We'll get back to the news on Class X Radio. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Class X Radio. Thought of some more fun things to discuss. But let's get to the news. But I think we missed a traffic report last time, so let's start with a traffic report.
Well, things are just slowing down. They did clear the one accident that was out there that actually had shut down right at Hamilton. So they've cleared that out of the way. But there's a couple others. Clifton at Martin Luther King. The other accident that had everything shut down was Harrison, just eastbound of Wesselman. So that's all out of the way. There's an accident northbound 7175 right at Dixie, and that is backed up all the way back to 275. That's pretty normal, but you're looking at about a 25-minute delay from 275, so you can add on the other travel time there. So it's a 30-minute plus trip for you. Southbound 75, you're really slow there, pretty much from around Sheridan all the way down through the Laughlin Split. All your typical merges. No other accidents right now to report. So other than that, just those delays, and it's getting to be that time of day. So, if you're leaving, I don't know. I would say just take an extra cup of coffee or kind of wait, but I don't know.
Romney pulls ahead in favorability poll. 50%. Obama favorability, 49%. That's according to the Pew Research. Gallup shows Romney leading favorability poll. Romney 52, Obama 51. Among likely voters, the Gallup has Romney 51, Obama 45. I can only pray that is true. Let's all pray that is true. Here's a funny story. Let's jackwagon up Sandra Fluke. Remember Miss Contraceptive? She campaigned for Obama to Reno, Nevada, sack and save yesterday. Guess how many people were in the crowd? 10 people. Hey, Sandra, you're nobody.
You jackwagon?
Jeez, oh, Pete, Sandra Fluck. I call her Fluke. Sandra Fluck. You know that news about in a debate where Obama claimed that Planned Parenthood provides mammograms? Turns out they don't.
Obamacare doesn't provide them?
They had Planned Parenthood doesn't. 2,000 pro-lifers called the clinics to schedule mammograms. The clinics don't actually provide them, so the pro-lifers scheduled a call Planned Parenthood to schedule your imaginary mammogram day. Obama lies again. Well, that's a shocker. That's a shocker. You know how bad the economy is? New York City, according to CBS, reports that 40% of thefts involve cell phones. The reason for the uptick is most people have all their bank accounts, email accounts, personal information on their phone. So you steal that, you get all that information. Cell phones. God, somebody stole my cell phone, I think I would die. I would run to Sprint.
Could you imagine being without it for
When my cell phone's broken, I run to Sprint.
I can't. Well, everything is in it. I mean, that's pretty much true. But if you have it locked up, can they get in it that easy?
Yes.
How did they used to live before those things?
I don't know. How did people live with 4 cell phones?
Imagine that. Well, we should know because that was, the nice thing was about it? Your parents couldn't track you down like they do now.
Yeah, that's true.
Back then, it's like now you can put a GPS right on there.
As a teenager, you said you were going to a movie. They didn't have no way of getting a hold of you.
Right.
Yeah.
You just went. You didn't have to check in.
Now it's about impossible to avoid someone, without them knowing that you're purposely avoiding them.
That is true.
You can't.
Let's face it. The phone tells you if you're checking their messages or not.
Right. Yeah. That too. And I mean, it used to be you could even the excuse that my phone died or something. Sometimes it actually does, but it's pretty rare. People keep them charged.
If you got this phone, it dies.
Yeah, Zim's phone's a piece.
Yeah, mine is too, honestly.
What do you guys got? Dog and I got the iPhones.
I got the iPhone, baby.
You like it?
Love it.
Love it, too.
I got rid of the old, not the Droid. I got rid of
BlackBerry.
BlackBerry.
Oh, those were horrible.
BlackBerry, you know what they call it? Crazy thing.
Obama campaign, this is great news. According to Washington Free Beacon, they took out a $15 million loan that is due November 14th. Now, get this. They took it from the Bank of America. Now, just think about that. Obama's administration, they're suing to fight. And then you go to the Bank of America and say, hey, we need a $14 million loan. If I'm the CEO of Bank of America, I'm going to say, what's in it for us to lend you this money, you jackwagon?
Yeah.
And I'm sure there is some kind of a deal.
You jackwagon?
Obama's borrowing money. Obama's borrowing money. Let's hope he goes down to defeat and he's stuck with a bunch of debt. He's going to be just like Clinton, though. He'll go on that speaking tour. People pay $100,000 to hear what he has to say. What a joke. Romney started October with $183.1 million in cash in hand, while Obama and the Democrats began October with only $149 million. Yes. You about Romney making this comment about Obama. Although President Obama won't lay out his plan for a second term, we already know what it will be, a repeat of the last 4 years. So he says he's not going to be reelected. Let's hope not. Can you imagine if Obama's reelected? Oh, my God.
They're talking like we're just screwed. The economy, I mean.
Everything will be screwed.
That's what everybody keeps saying, no matter,
But Barack will be living in that $1 billion house with his family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The blacks will be happy.
All right. What else do we have here? London resident Chris Walker made 2 $5 donations to the Obama website using a Kansas address and a New York zip code. When he tried to make the donation on Romney's website, it was automatically rejected. Obama is a cheater. He's like Pittsburgh. You see that wide receiver fall down like he had cramps?
Oh, yeah.
Not one drive.
And Collinsworth was calling him out for it. Collinsworth and Michaels.
Right.
You could kind of see, like, he was standing in the huddle, and then all of a sudden just falls over.
Yep.
And then he was back in the next play.
Washington Times, just remember this, if you want another reason to vote for Romney, Hugo Chavez and Putin have endorsed Obama. Do you need any other reason? Putin from Russia.
What do they know?
Exactly. Kevin Maiden said the Obama campaign has not been about the future. It hasn't been talking about what they'll do the next 4 years to really help rebuild the economy. Instead, they have reduced themselves to very small attacks like Romnesia, which is really, quite frankly, silly for the President of the United States as the leader of the free world to begin uttering. Wow.
Going back to the Russia thing, didn't Obama say something to Putin about, hey, we'll just wait till I get elected a second time and then...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll have more flexibility then. I have more flexibility. Jeez, oh Pete. I can't believe it. On Libya, the internet may be a powerful medium, but isn't an all-purpose scapegoat. Islamists remain a present terror. YouTube videos don't kill people. Terrorists kill people. Well said. In the Wall Street Journal opinion, Dorothy Rabinowitz says the Benghazi fiasco is a brutally illuminating portrait of the Obama White House in crisis mode. They're a joke in crisis. They're a joke anywhere. Are you ready for some rock and roll? This is Heart. The Sisters. The blonde or the brunettes, the question. On Class X Radio. Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Class X Radio. Anything going on out there? Traffic.
Yeah, we actually have some problems. Southbound 75, there's an accident blocking the left lane just south there. Let's see, southbound 75, it's right around Paddock, and that has traffic backed up all the way back to Glendale Milford. Right now, you're looking at about a 30-minute delay just from Glendale Milford on down past Paddock. Then it kind of opens up. Same on 7175 in Northern Kentucky. There's an accident at Dixie, and that has you backed up. So once you get past the accident, it's not too bad. But from 275 to past Dixie, you're looking at a 30-plus delay there as well. Then, like I said, it opens up in another accident off on Buttermilk at 7175. And then there was an accident. I was trying to look to see where it was causing any problems. Southbound 71 at the 275 merge, and I'm not seeing it, but traffic is slow if you're heading southbound on 71, especially from 275 on down to around Ronald Reagan. So a lot of slow spots, but those are at least the big problem spots that you'll run into out there. So again, southbound 75, you're going to have some problems if you're heading in that direction. So we'll let you know when that clears up.
Well, let's hope it clears up because you know what? There's Mondays. I guess the only good thing about Mondays is we all go through them together. We all go through Mondays together.
Everybody's at Monday at the same time.
But Mondays suck, man.
They do.
I mean, in my business, it's always scrambling. There's always court on Monday. It's the people calling you from the weekend over. I mean, it's rough. Will the economy get better in the next year? 45% of registered voters say yes. 9% expect to get worse. I'm going to tell you something. If Mitt Romney's elected president, it will get better. Because when he starts changing all the restrictions, regulations, and everything else Obama's laid on us, there will be an economic boom. There's a big debate. Is Fidel Castro near death or not? There's rumors that he had a stroke, that he may be near death. Who knows? Up and down all the time. Is he or isn't he? I got another pet peeve about politics. This just drives me nuts. When I hear Barack Obama and the Democrats saying they're just trying to politicize this, or didn't you hear Mitt Romney and Republicans saying they're just trying to politicize this? You know, both parties, quote unquote, politicize everything. What does it mean, politicize? If Obama has lied about Libya, it's politicizing it. If Romney brings up the failings of Obama in Libya, that's politicizing it. Well, then if that's politicizing it, it needs to be politicized. Such a phony thing. They're politicizing this. And you hear both parties do it. I can't believe they're politicizing this. Give me a break. And how about this? The Fort Hood, to tie in to the, them not calling it a terrorist act in Libya, refusing to. To this day, in Fort Hood, they call that workplace violence and not terrorism. A guy that followed, became a radical Islamic, communicated with radical Islamists outside the country, who stands up shooting people going, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. But it's not terrorist. It's workplace violence. It just tells you the mentality of the Obama administration. Yeah. And how bad is Obamacare when there has to be a book printed called Obama Survivor Guide now in bookstores? Obama Survivor Guide. When you pass a law that requires someone to write and publish a survivor guide, it's probably a bad law. I'm telling you, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. Let's pump up Class X Radio. There is going to be a pledge drive. Here's something you may not have known this if you're a listener of the Bulldog show in the mornings. This is a non-profit radio station. By the way, I am not getting paid, for example. Class X is doing a fall pledge drive October 23rd, which is tomorrow, October 24th, which is Wednesday, and October 25th, which is Thursday. I'm actually going to be on the air all day Thursday from 12 to 12. But you can become an official member, a Class X partner.
You're going to be on from
3 days.
6 to 6.
6 to 6.
You're going to be on for 12 hours. You said from 12 to 12.
12
Just so everybody
hours
knows.
of radio suburbia.
That's right.
But I think this is kind of like public radio. You can sponsor. You can pledge $10 a month, $100, something or other. And this is to help Bill Spry to keep Class X radio rolling. Otherwise, we're going to have to rob Garrett's dad's safety deposit box to keep the thing going if right. You don't pledge.
I think I got the key. I got no problem taking out a few bricks of gold.
Well, I asked him, I'm like, I really didn't understand why it was public radio, but it's where it sits on the dial.
Anything to the left of 92, baby.
Yeah. So,
and he decided to do that to get on the radio. Because otherwise he wouldn't have been on the radio.
He's a rebel.
He's a rebel, just like the Bulldog
rebel
is.
Yell.
By the way, did you see these funny things? Some of these things aren't worth discussing, but these are. These are little photographs. This is Pelosi looking at Obama.
Where people kind of put their commentary on.
What do you mean you're switching my insurance to Obamacare? Here's Obama with a microphone pointing. Hey, don't be mad. You're the one who fell for all this BS 4 years ago. His hands by his head. Let me see if I can come up with a thought of my own without my teleprompter. With his hands on his cheeks, or chin. Even I have to wonder how much more I can get away with. Biden laughing. Wait a minute, Joe. I meant it when I said I was doing a good job. That picture of him sweating. Boy, lying makes a person sweat a lot. Obama and Biden laughing. I can't believe blaming Bush still works.
He went back to that in the last debate, too.
Oh my
God. A little bit.
Oh, my God. And here's Obama talking to Cameron at the basketball game. You pay for two, I pay for none. Then we share what we have. Really, it's pretty simple. I'll have the Obama special, everything on the menu, and the guy behind pays me. Jeez, so Pete. That's funny. Hey, shall I push it was Bush's fault button again? All right, we come back with more Radio Superbity. Until then, enjoy Fleetwood Mac for Monday morning. The Bulldog, Eric Deters on Class X Radio. Hope you're getting to work safe on Monday. Denise, you got anything to report on traffic?
Yeah, we're still dealing with some accidents. Southbound 75, there's an accident. It has the left lane blocked, and that is around Paddock, but you're backed up. It's starting to back up now all the way back to 275. So it's been out there for about 40 minutes, so you've got a long delay there. Also, a couple of accidents on 71, 75. One of those accidents was right around Dixie. That had the traffic backed up to 275. Now there's a second accident, 7175, right at the 275 ramp. So that's starting to back traffic up there all the way back to Donaldson. The rest of the traffic just slow around the tri-state. 471 heading inbound. You're slow there from Southgate. Southbound 71. There was an earlier accident reported there as well on 71 right around the 275 merge. I'm not seeing it on the camera, but they're still reporting that it's there. So that traffic, I was trying to look here and see what the delays were. You're pretty much right around Fields Erdel on down to the Ronald Reagan merge, and then on 275 heading westbound over to 71. So plenty of delays and a few problems on the interstates.
Sounds great.
That's because you're in here. That's why it sounds good to you.
That's traffic on the 9s.
Traffic on the 9s or the 6s or the 5s.
How about
whenever we
fours?
decide to do
Those
it.
are fours.
All right, now, I'm a newspaper, and I'm old school, man. I still like the newspaper.
Yeah, you are. I mean...
So I cut out some things for the weekend that I just want to share with our listeners. The New York Yankees, they scored 2.44 runs per game. That is like the fourth lowest rate in baseball history for any team that's played at least 7 postseason games. And guess what? The Yankees are stuck with Alex Rodriguez for 5 more years, $100 million, and he's got a no-trade clause, and he says, nah, baby, nah, I like it right here in New York. As his skills start to diminish. But you know what? Here's what they ought to do. They ought to embrace it. He's like at 670-some home runs. It's just, hey, man, just stick him, make him a designated hitter if you have to. And see if he can, get that publicity from genuinely beating Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron.
But he took steroids.
Huh?
He did do steroids.
He did steroids too, but not as much.
That's a touchy thing. What do you think about all that? Like, if he broke the record,
I think when you look at the numbers that Sosa and Martinez and McGuire and all them put up during those years, and what they're doing now, the steroid clean.
Oh, it looks obvious.
It just proves how terrible it was.
Now guys are hitting, like, your best hitters in the game are hitting
30 home runs, 40
40s,
home runs.
Mid-40s.
Not 70.
70 in 1 year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's almost half the games. Every other game.
Yep. This from the Associated Press. I'm not saying any of you, this applies to any of you all in this room, but a new Gallup survey touted as the largest of its kind estimates that 3.4% of American adults identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender. 3.4%.
Wow.
Nah, doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me either.
But what would that be? I mean, what did you know?
You had 100 people in a room, you'd have 3.4 of them.
I'd worry about the 0.4%.
0.4? All these corporations are reporting their earnings according to Wall Street Journal. And like even McDonald's, they're having earnings slip. Well, the stocks are taking a hit. The Dow fell 205 points. Right now at election time. I hope it falls a little bit more, just enough to hurt Obama. Roger Ailes, 72. People forget that he ran the Reagan campaign. He has signed a new 4-year deal with Fox News. He receives a base salary of $5 million, a bonus of $1.5 million a year, plus other performance bonuses. Well, he makes a lot of money. His total compensation for the fiscal year was $21 million, making him the third highest guy behind Rupert and Chase Carey in the company. Well, he made Fox News what it was. Or what it is, Roger Ailes. I've already mentioned this. Romney and the Republicans have a $34 million advantage begin the month. Yes! You got to love that. Don't you got to love that? We're ahead.
Yep.
The New York Times had a story about little Anita Dunn, the former White House communications director, partner in a communications firm, SKDK Knickerbocker, and David Floof. These people, they make all this money after they leave as lobbyists. And this really, really burns me up when I have to read this. And what it is it's navigating. Listen, it's difficult to penetrate this administration. Anyone who has an insight into what they are thinking or their strategy or thoughts on issues we are working on is helpful, and they provided that. And then they talk about how it's important to have these kind of people to work through all the complexity and quagmires of Washington. And my response is, why should it be that way? Why should it be a quagmire? Why does it have to be so complicated? Lobbyists. I hate them. Is that too strong to say I hate lobbyists?
Nope.
I thought this was pretty interesting. Yesterday's Enquirer, Bill Keating Jr. Sends out a thought of the day, and he has 900 followers, which is kind of nice. I like some of these thoughts of the day. And I thought to myself, thought of the day, we send out a newsletter to 10,000 people every day. How come you're not doing a story about my newsletter, Enquirer? Of course, the reason's obvious. Keating's connected to the Enquirer because of his daddy. His dad was friends with my dad. And by the way, I'm not mocking Bill Keating Jr. It's a really neat story. And it's a really cool thought of the day that he does. Thought of the day. Here's one. I thought this is pretty good. He says, a DUI is expensive. The total cost of a DUI started at $5,000 and could end in death. A cab is less than $100. I'll reimburse you for a cab. Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Boy, it is, man.
It is so stupid. It is so stupid to get a DUI. Have a designated driver, call a cab, call your parents, whatever it takes. That's what I say. Is that what you say?
A lot of people I'd go pick up if they called me at 2 a.m. and said, hey, man, can you give me a lift?
Fun little history story. In 1872, criminals Patrick Morrissey, convicted of stabbing his mother to death, and Jack Gaffney were hanged by the neck until dead by the sheriff of Erie County, New York, who had the nickname the Buffalo Hangman. Do you know who that was? He's a president.
No, I don't. I could have looked at your newsletter and then I would know.
I've told this story before.
Harrison.
This isn't a newsletter. In 1885, the notorious hangman was referred to by another name, President Grover Cleveland.
Cleveland.
I was going to say Judge Moybean.
He was the sheriff, and he decided that, hey, if somebody has to be hung, he's not going to pay somebody to do it. He's going to do it himself. Wow. You know what we all need to do? We need to get on a jet airliner and get the hell out of this town, don't you think? That's what Steve Miller would ask us to do on Class X Radio. This is the Bulldog on Class X Radio. Tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, Class X Radio is doing a pledge drive. We are a non-profit radio station. Don't worry, folks. It ain't coming to me. I don't get paid. And on Thursday, I'm going to be on the air from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Why? Because I guess I'm crazy. I always wanted to do something crazy like that, so I'm going to do it. The big news tonight. Well, first of all, before I get rolling, I better ask for a traffic report or else I'll get rolling and forget it.
Well, you know what? We do have a couple of accidents. There's a new accident in Milford, and that is on Round Bottom Road at Benning, and that is closed in that area due to that accident. There was an accident on 7175, had injuries, and that was at Buttermilk and right at that ramp there just west of 7175. They did clear a couple of other accidents. There's another one reported on the left shoulder, 7175, heading northbound in Erlanger. But that traffic is improving. Earlier, it was right around Dixie, and that was causing some bigger problems. Also, Linwood at Herschel, McMicken at Race, and then southbound or northbound 71 right around Montgomery. So if you're watching or heading in that direction, again, that's northbound. So a couple of problems out there and just some slow traffic. There's one more that just popped up, was Montgomery Road right at 275. So a couple of issues there. The rest of the traffic just slow, you know.
Right. Well, tonight is the foreign policy debate, and I wouldn't consider this a rant. I would consider this an analysis. When you look at foreign policy in the history of the United States, from the time that we first were granted our freedom through the Declaration of Independence and we had to fight a war over it, we used foreign alliances to our benefit. For example, the Dutch gave us a loan, and the French came in to fight on our side, basically due to a couple things. One, they hated Britain as bad as we did, and also Benjamin Franklin's partying over there in France. And you know what? It's kind of funny because Louis XIV bankrupted France on our revolution, and that led to the French Revolution. Kind of irony there, isn't it? George Washington warned our country not to get in foreign entanglements, and John Adams lost the presidency in part because he wouldn't declare a war. And, of course, we had the very misguided War of 1812 where the White House was burned. And then, of course, we had to fight the Civil War. We had to fight all these other wars. World War I, we tried to stay out to the Lusitania. And then we had World War II, which we had to fight because of the Nazi German threat, as well as, Japan bombing Pearl Harbor. How they attacked us. What do you do, And then we developed this idea and this concept of, let's stop the spread of communism. The Truman Doctrine. So we were in Korea, we were in Vietnam, all for the same thing. Let's stop the spread of communism. Then we went to war in the Gulf to drive Saddam Hussein out of Kuwait when he invaded Kuwait. Then, of course, good old George Bush the Bush Doctrine is you fight the terrorists over there instead of here. You have these other wars. And the entire basis for a foreign policy of the United States of America can be summed up by George Washington. George Washington said this: nobody's your friend. It's all self-interest. It's all self-interest. If a country has something that an interest that they have, which meets our interest, well, you have this self-interest. In the Soviet era, when you think about it, when the Soviet Union collapsed, the world was left with one superpower, the United States of America, based upon economic strength and military strength. Well, we now have a military that's going to get gutted by $1 trillion, and we have an economy that's got $16 trillion in debt and counting. And while we're mothballing aircraft carriers, China's building aircraft carriers. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, if I was Mitt Romney tonight, the message that I would espouse, the one that I would communicate to the American people, the 50 or 60 million watching, would be this: the world needs a strong America. America needs to be strong for America. And it's always on two fronts: economic strength and military strength. When you have the Joint Chiefs of Staff say the fiscal problems in America is the biggest national security risk there is, that's pretty scary. And in this day and age, we not only have the threat of nuclear war, we also have terrorism. Much harder to combat. It's much more insidious, the way it works. But to succeed, for America to succeed in foreign policy, it must be strong. There's some basic principles that Mitt Romney should share. One, fiscal strength at home, which allows us to maintain our military superiority. Number two, pick your battles. We can't fight land wars, nor should we be fighting land wars all over the place. Are you kidding me? We shouldn't do that. Because he has to tell the American people what would be different about his foreign policy, and that's got to be what it is. He's not going to go invade countries like Bush did and keep us there like Obama has. And then when you look at the naiveness of Obama, when you look at the Arab Spring, I would rather have Mubarak in charge of Egypt and the Egyptian people a little suppressed by him, if he's our ally, than what we got now. Same thing in all these countries. But it is impossible for any person to look at the world and look at what's going on in Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, Syria, Egypt, Libya, Iraq, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Yemen, you name it, and say, Barack Obama's done a swell job in foreign affairs. Are you kidding me? He's a laughing stock. And you know what it is? You know, TR, who's pictured to my left, TR said, speak softly and carry a big stick. That is a good foreign policy. Ronald Reagan did it, didn't he? You know, he took out Grenada. Grenada was easy. He knew that was going to be easy. He dropped a few bombs up old Gaddafi's butt to shut him up. That's how you use your military. I mean, we have to get fiscally strong to maintain our military strength. How messed up is it? I have said George Bush was the worst president in United States history until Barack Obama came along. Now they're 1 and 2. They inherited, folks. They inherited from the George Bush one, and even Clinton inherited too. They inherited the only superpower. They didn't have to worry about the Cold War anymore. The superpower. And on their own, they've ruined it. Nobody's done this to us but ourselves. We have self-inflicted wounds of debt and war and bad decision-making. It was John Adams who first dwelled in the White House in Washington, and on the mantle there is subscribed that wonderful saying about only wise men, only wise men dwell in this house. I don't know the exact quote. And you know what? Unfortunately, there's been a few times, including the last 12 years, a wise man could not be found in the White House. And we need Mitt Romney to dwell there. We come back. More of this as we enter the debate, the final debate on Class X Radio. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Class X Radio. You got traffic report, Denise?
I do. You know what? We have that accident in Milford, and that has Round Bottom Road closed at Benning. That is still going on. They've cleared several other accidents. There's another one, Township Street, and that is at Massachusetts Avenue. I really don't even know where that is. I think that's the first time I've ever heard of it. But as far as the rest of traffic, some of the spots easing up out there. Was looking at some of the cameras. You're still slow on 71, 75, but it's improved a whole lot. We had several accidents out there earlier this morning, but they're looking a lot better. You're still slow from right around Dixie and continuing on down to the bridge. Southbound 71, not looking too bad as far as heading out there. 75 still looks a little slow. If you're heading in, just looking at the camera right around, well, it doesn't even look bad there at Sharon. So Newman on down to around Paddock.
All righty. Of course, traffic has nothing to do with foreign policy.
Thank goodness, huh?
Again, tonight is the big debate on foreign policy. It's the last debate. And, obviously, Romney creamed him in the first debate. And I think he creamed him in the second debate. It's just that Obama was so bad the first debate that by comparison, it looked like Obama did a little bit better. Romney's got the momentum. There's no way Romney's going to fall on his face in foreign policy because Obama's foreign policy is so abysmal that it's going to be impossible. It's like that record on the economy that he couldn't defend in debate number 1. He can't defend it in debate number 2. And here are some of the things. This was in the Wall Street Journal. Wall Street Journal over the weekend, or actually it was on Friday, has a big foreign policy debate outlining everything as it relates to, what Romney ought to do. And at the very bottom of it, they got this Benghazi malarkey. And it just sums up all the BS from Obama. I mean, the lies, how can Obama go on national television and say, or in debates and say, he shared with the American people everything about the being Libya, full transparent. Are you kidding me? They're shameless. Garth Brooks just got inducted to the Hall of Fame. He had a song called Shameless. That's a theme song of the Obama administration. They are shameless. They will look you in the eye and say something's black when it's white. Here's what Wall Street Journal said. Joe Biden, in the Benghazi section of his debate with Paul Ryan, said, the congressman here cut embassy security in his budget by $300 million below what we asked for. As Mr. Biden might say, incredible. Democrats take the Ryan's budget across-the-board reductions and non-defense discretionary spending and extrapolate them to state. But the Ryan budget never got into embassy security, nor did it become law. For 3 years, House Republicans increased spending on the Worldwide Security Protection Account and states' appropriation. The security account for physical upgrades to embassy buildings fell to $688 million from $775 for fiscal year 2013, but the administration itself asked to reduce funding. Benghazi was not a budget problem. At last week's House hearing, State Department officials admitted to rejecting requests for beefed-up security. What the Benghazi mess makes clear is that al-Qaeda isn't defeated, and Mr. Obama's mission accomplished about them is wrong. This remains a long war. And how about that? Little Joe Biden's little, Bin Laden's dead and General Motors still here. Yeah, Bin Laden's might be dead, but al-Qaeda is stronger now than when Obama took office. It's incredible. Garrett, you dying to say something?
No, I hope that Romney steps on him in the foreign policy debate, and I think he should and can.
Oh, Iran? My goodness. You know, stand with Israel. He's been waffling around with Israel. Romney will stand with Israel. It's time to let not Iran get away with this nuclear weapon. Libya, just chaos. Egypt, chaos. Muslim Brotherhood in control. Russia, China, North Korea. The new axis of evil. You know, it was back in World War II. We had Germany, Japan, and Italy. Well, now we have North Korea, Russia, and China. They keep blocking everything in Syria. Look what's going on in Syria. Bloodbaths. And what happens is, people forget this. Syria sits there and looks at what's going on in Libya, and they think, oh, God, the international community came in and helped them out. Okay, we'll do the same thing. We'll start the ball rolling. And then the international community doesn't do a damn thing. It leaves them hanging out to dry. You shouldn't have started in the first place, but you shouldn't leave them hanging out to dry. Terrible foreign policy. There's really no foreign policy. Cutting the military. And by the way, it's the Republicans' fault as much as the Democrats. These jackwagons that got in the room, 6 Democrats, 6 Republicans, the super committee. We're in the super committee. And of course, the super committee doesn't reach any agreement on the budget, except the whole Congress, the House, and the Senate agree to say, well, if we can't reach a decision, super committee can't reach a decision, we'll have $1 trillion automatic cuts. And we don't care where they come from. Whop, whop, whop. Whack, whack, whack. That's going to help the economy. We are, how can somebody vote for Barack Obama is amazing to me. Bruce Springsteen's out there giving free concerts everywhere, any place he can. Why, I don't know. Remember what I said about Barack Obama? Karma was going to get him. Karma has got him. I'm dedicating this song to Barack Obama. It's by Johnny Cash.
Hey, everybody, this is Denise sitting in here waiting on the Bulldog. You're listening to Class X Radio. I'm going to give you a little bit of a traffic update. You still have the accident at Milford, and that is Round Bottom Road at Benning. That is still closed. And also an accident on Township at Massachusetts Avenue. So watch for that. And the rest of the traffic looks like it's kind of easing up. And the Bulldog came back in and joined us there.
How about that?
How about
traffic clearing up? It always clears up before 9.
Yeah,
no wonder some
Perfect.
people want to go to work at 9.
Right before I get out of here.
Yeah,
Right
that's
before I
good.
hit the roads again.
Yeah.
You going to watch a debate tonight, Garrett?
Yeah.
Or you going to watch football?
I'm going to watch football and There's baseball on, too. A lot on TV tonight. Football, baseball, and the debate. I'm not going to watch this. I watch the other debates, all 90
I have
minutes.
to admit, I hate when there's too much on television because then you don't get to watch any of it with your undivided attention. You got to choose. I'm going to watch a debate because that's the most important thing.
You're not going to switch.
Who cares about the Detroit and the Bears?
Well, I do because my fantasy football game's on the line. This is riding on. This is big money riding on it.
The difference between a 24 and a 49-year-old.
I need Matthew Stafford to throw.
Well, at least you watched a couple
and it's
other
for
debates.
fantasy football.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know who I'm gonna, and I'll still watch it.
It doesn't
again.
make any difference.
I
Does
know
it?
who I'm voting for. Yep.
You are an important voter because you're an Ohio voter.
Yeah, I'm more important than you guys. You guys are
meaningless.
Yeah, I mean, at least your state is locked in.
Yeah, we're a smart state.
I know.
Ohio.
I know. There's liberal hippies up in my state. I'm going to have to help.
Hamilton County, wake up. Class X is going to have a fall pledge drive tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday. I'm going to be on from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Thursday. You can become an official member of Class X by partnering with a sponsorship. This is like PBS, I think.
It is. Yeah.
How you like that?
Maybe we can get Big Bird.
And none of the money comes to me. Just want everybody to know. People think I'm raising money for myself. I'm not. I'm raising money to help out Bill Spry. What do you got going on today, Denise? Anything exciting?
Nothing exciting. No, nothing exciting in my world. Just try to get caught up on some work, and that's about it, really. Kind of.
My day's already starting off hectic. I got things I got to do. The old practice of law.
You've been running around here a lot.
I've been running around. I got to keep on running around. It's wearing me out. But remember, folks, I am never too busy for your case. Somebody just called me. They were in a head-on car collision on Friday night. Jeez, oh Pete, can you imagine getting hit? I mean, I've had clients that have got hit by head-on. I can't imagine you're going along and all of a sudden, bam, you stop instantly.
Yeah.
Imagine going like 55 and then all of a sudden you're at a dead stop. Ouch.
Crazy. I got rear-ended on the way home from here. What was that a Friday afternoon?
I think you need to go to the chiropractor. I think you need to go. Your back little sore there.
The kid was all worried that he was going to get his license suspended. We pull over. It's right in front of the party source down there in Bellevue.
Mm-hmm.
The kid's all worried. Oh, I'm going to lose my license. I'm like, why? He goes, speeding tickets. I got too many points. I'm like, I don't care about calling the cops. Just give me your info. But I know that can come back to haunt you too, right? You kind of. I've been told by people you always want to call the cops. I didn't. This kid had his insurance card out, so I knew he had it. I called the insurance company like right after when I got home.
Didn't it mess your car up?
Yeah, a little bumper will need to be replaced, but not too bad. Just felt him.
There's nothing worse when your car's in the shop.
Nah,
like
sucks.
this person called me. They're saying, their car's in the shop. They got to get to work. They got to get to school. There's never a rental available. They claim that there is, but there's not. They just, it's a pain in the butt. Wall Street Journal had a great story. Also, I love this one. Mr. Johnson goes to Washington. And he was a U.S. Senator. He defeated Feingold in 2010. And he's a Tea Party guy. And he spoke about the frustrations of being a senator in Washington. And it's really, really amazing. I mean, this was written by Alicia Finley in the Wall Street Journal for Saturday and Sunday. It's worth reading. I'm not going to bore you with reading the whole thing. But, it's like nobody really wants to fix the problem in Washington. It's like same old, same old. I can hear it now. People get elected. They go up there idealistic and everything else. And then the corrupt guys that are there, this is the way you got to get along here to get along here. I think the first time in our history, the Tea Party's saying, no, we're not going to do it the way you want us to do it. We're not going to just get along.
That's one of the things I love about Romney is his willingness to work with the other side because everybody could have a good idea here and there. It's Obama seems completely cut off to it.
As much as I hate the Democrats, if I was president, I'd do the same thing. I mean, I would hopefully I had a majority so I had more bargaining power.
Right.
But I'd sit them down and say, all right, come on, man. We got to find some common ground here. If they say something, I'm not stupid. No, we're not going to do that.
Right.
But I'll throw you a bone over here.
Yep. If it's smart, it's smart. It's going to make you look good in the end if it works out, if you're president.
But it would be beautiful for him to capture the House, capture the Senate, and just be able to do it.
I agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, every dog has their day. Hope tomorrow's yours. This is one of my favorite Billy Joel songs. You might be right. I may be crazy. But it may just be a lunatic you're looking for on a Monday.